People of Earth, good evening. Welcome to this edition 111 of Star Nation News. 111 is a great number as a beginning, a great number to open an era of truth, and a great edition to talk to you about the great reveal, the disclosure plan, what it exactly is, and what is going on, both on the actors of the disclosure plan and the opponents, the dark state, that wants to shut down all voices bringing truth. We will go over it in this edition of Star Nation News. So have you fastened your seatbelt? Because this is a good ride. Energize and engage. On January 7, 2023, High Commander Thor Han, my partner in the Galactic Federation of Worlds and main contact, met on Earth in the Blue Ridge Mountain in the Raven Rock underground facility with Commander of the NORAD, General Glen VanHerck. He gave to him the updated plan of the great reveal, of the disclosure of alien presence and work on this planet. Since the plan has unfolded as scheduled, right on point and on time. This great plan consisted in, and was qualified as genius by Thor Han, consisted in two parallel operations, one on Earth and one in Earth's skies. The one on Earth involves disclosing, bringing to the public the information that had been hidden for decades to the public, meaning the different covert programs of the military working with both sides in a galactic war. The US Navy first working with the Galactic Federation of Worlds and other dark programs led by the CIA MJ-12 working with the Sikaar Empire and the Grey Alliance. To be more specific, the Sikaar Empire was involved with the Fourth Reich Nazi Antarctica and the reptilian branch of the Anahim, said Anunnaki, led at the top by Enlil. The Sikaar Empire had also ties with the Alliance of the Six, an agreement of cooperation, mutual agreement, I would say, with the Nebu Grays. The Nebu Grays, when they formed their empire, starting by Betelgeuse in the Orion Zone to take over the galaxy, very quickly realized that they had competitors and that if they want to remove competition, they had to include the competitors in their plans. Their 5 competitors were the Sikaar Empire, mainly, the biggest one, the Kili Tokurt, the masters of slave trade in the galaxy, the Solipsirai from Cygnus, the Zetareticulan Greys, and the Maitreyi from the galaxy Andromeda, that they call Megopay. Everything is about to be disclosed. The hybrid programs that the MJ-12 and the CIA and the dark side of the military conducted together with the Alliance of the Six. In deep underground military bases, you will learn how, and this is when I joined Stephen Greer in that, although I don't agree with everything he said, but on this I agree. all the abductions were not all made by Grays. The Grays have gone. They've been taken out of star system. But a big part of the abductions, that's why it seems to go on to this day, were performed by the deep state, the dark side of the force in the military, who had agreement with the MJ12 CIA Alliance of the Six. The Alliance of the Six, especially the EBAN, had provided them with fake synthetic Grays, dummies, as we said, but that were like robotics, like droids. And they were performing hybridization programs. Abductees who think they were being abducted by aliens, but in truth they were being abducted by the dark force of the military, brought back into the deep underground military bases to be used as breeders. Some, or many, I would say, of these abductees who have performed hypnosis have remembered waking up in an underground base surrounded by human military. They even saw reptilian hybrids, which is fit for talking about the Alliance of the Six, because the Sikaar were involved. You will know all of this, and the truth will blow the lid of human awareness and of many's abilities and capacity to bear the truth. But it needs to come out, and it's gonna come out. It's about to come out. That's for the Earth operations. Also disclosing retro-engineered technology programs. That has started already. Now, all these dark organizations have been infiltrated by the good guys as well. So things are shifting. I'm going to get back to this, but I want to give you the other parallel operation, which is led by the Galactic Federation of Worlds and the Intergalactic Confederation. They both are in charge of showing you extraterrestrial presence. All the regressives have been taken out of star system. The Alliance of the Six has been taken out. I mean the Greys, the Sikaar, the Dark Fleet, everybody. In 2021 and 2022, these were the big hit of the operations. Now, when you see in your skies UFOs, it is either ETs or it is either military crafts. And when it is ETs, it is either flying saucers or either orbs. Anything that is plasmic orbs, it's from a higher densities, it's from the Intergalactic Confederation. When it is metallic orbs, it is from the Galactic Federation of Worlds that also can use plasma orbs, but they're more used to have metallic spheres. These are probes, like remote viewing cameras, and all the ships from the star nations that you see in the sky are unmanned, uncrewed. That means there's nobody on board. They are remote driven, because the skies of Earth are not yet safe for them. You could tell, yeah, but the torsion field shields from any intrusions, any weapons. Yes, Earth-made weapons, bullets or things like that. But what it doesn't shield from is retro-engineered extraterrestrial weaponry, which the dark force has. So look up and you will see them all the time. Now let's go back to Earth, the disclosure plan on Earth. Thor Han said something very important. He said, "It is not the great reveal that will set you free, but it is your endeavors to set yourselves free that will bring the great reveal." So the plan is going forward. And as the plan goes forward, Donald Trump has announced the release of the FBI files, now the release of everything about UFOs. It is time. It's coming. And it's not another limited hangout announcement, as it has been done many times before. No, it's the real thing. And you know why it's the real thing that is about to come out? Because the deep state is in panic. They are taking out, when I say taking out, abducting or killing scientists and witnesses and whistleblowers who have been involved in a way or another in these technologies, in these programs, and who were about to testify. And the list is unfortunately growing by the day. Every one of these people were working in advanced technologies and were about to bring them to humanity or testify from it. None of them suicided. None of them. And they made even statements before, many of them, not all of them, but many of them now they do it systematically. People who feel they fear, they have received threats, they made statements that they do not want to kill themselves. They have no intention. And there are now technologies that can just target you by radio frequencies, by energy beam. It's a direct energy weapons. And it's not only about laser, it's about frequency war. It's about beams that can just get into your head or target your organs and give you a violent, virulent cancer suddenly, or just shoot you. I have been also the target of everything I say: direct energy weapons, death threats, and also, as some of them were and testified they were, victim of a global smear campaign generated by grouped people who associate together to turn suddenly against me. They have tried to isolate me. They have tried to tarnish my reputation. They have tried to destroy my integrity, to make me look like a liar. Because what they're trying to do is to turn away people from me. And it is very obsessive. They are really at it. Some pretend to have contact with my contacts. And that is why there is only one emissary per organization to protect the information. Imagine there were many. Everybody could claim to be one of them and distort information, bring lies, misinformation, being agents, for instance, or just wanting a bit of fun and popularity. That is why there is one organization, one emissary per organization regarding the civilians. I think many of those who claim to be that wouldn't last a day in my shoes. I am well trained, and I came back for this. I am working with the Federation and not for them. I am working with Earth scientists to bring these technologies to you. I'm involved in the disclosure plan, and you will soon see what it is about. This will be disclosed in Stockholm, Sweden, on the 24th of May, 2026. So if you want to be on the first seat, first row, and be the first to hear about that, I advise you to come. They have been obsessed at targeting me. Since I published The Cedars, a Mossad agent came on the scene from nowhere and was everywhere at the same time. This is typical of an op, telling that I was dead, like now replaced by a droid or something. You know, Nobody says droid. When humans, they pretend another human has been replaced, they say hologram or clone. That's the story. But it was the same to tell the word droid. Droid is a term from Star Wars. And why didn't he say clone or hologram like everybody else when they want to accuse someone else? Because he had been implanted a program to say. And the people who implanted this program are not aware really of what humans say, and they looked at what's popular in the film industry, and Star Wars droid. That proves that the people who programmed him are not human. And they know absolutely nothing about human culture, or very few. Because it's not that they don't interest themselves, that they don't understand it, because they're not human. And when the Cedars came out, I was the victim of a violent smear campaign and attacks. The persons were behind him were the Mossad and the CIA. Well, it didn't stop here. Because before that, there was a cute blondie who pretended talking with one of my contacts and bring false information, and that's a classic. When you see someone bringing information from allegedly one of my personal contacts, this is aimed at bringing misinformation into my work and information, into bringing contradictory information. Why don't they invent other names, people who are not my contacts? No, because it's not the point of the operation. The point of the operation is to pretend to be in contact with my contact and distort information. That's what it is about. You know, VanHerck, Anars, Thor Han, Ardana, everyone, ER even, you know, that's the point of the operations. And these people are programmed, most of them, and they don't know it. If you look at their history, they all have at one point been abducted or in contact with reptilians or Greys. The Greys are not really into all these, they're more into the abduction and hybridization programs. This is the reptilians working with the Illuminati, who are more into social engineering. So as to close this topic, my name is Elena Danan. I am a being filled with joy, hope, and bringing hope to humanity as my mission. I have no intention to kill myself. I have no intention to go and lose myself in the woods. I am well aware of what is going on at the moment. And despite all the threats and the smear campaigns aimed at me, against me, I will continue my mission and vow my life happily to complete it. By my spiritual beliefs in Creator Source, I believe that when we take our own life, we're not going back to Creator. And for this reason, I will never take it down myself. I am a very careful and good driver. I do not drink alcohol. I do not smoke. I do not take substances. I have a healthy diet. I exercise. And I'm sane of body and spirit. So if anything happens to me, I didn't do it. Come to Sweden, Stockholm, May 23rd and 24th, to meet with me and meet the scientist I am working with. Be there to be the first to hear a very special announcement that concerns all planet Earth, and that is part of the disclosure plan, something we have been working on with the Federation. You need to be here, and you need to hear it first. This is going to change the world and the planet. I will give shortly before, on May 9th, in Pétos, France, a remote presentation about technologies. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about this because I have asked my audience what they would like me to talk about, what technologies. And came out that the medbeds were a big thing. So I'm going to talk about medical exotechnologies. And maybe, if you're nice, architecture, space food, space bathrooms, and all these little funny details of life in space. So be there. And then after Sweden, I will fly to Japan to be there in Tokyo for June 14th for a Galactic Festival organized by Miyoko Sano in a brand new place that is a very futuristic hall in Tokyo on the front sea, looking over the Pacific Ocean. This is going to be stellar. This is going to be amazing, beautiful. And I can't wait to meet the Japanese audience, whom I learned to call my family of heart, my Japanese family. I look forward to meet you all there and all those from Asia and a little bit further who can make it. Then, if you want to meet cowboys and aliens, come to Nashville, Tennessee, in October 2026 for a brand groundbreaking conference. And this will be about the spiritual evolution of Earth. We will talk about religions, ancient aliens, and the future of humanity, the consciousness, what is consciousness, and what has been happening to Earth through religions. And we're going to bring freedom and knowledge and truth, and that's going to be mind-blowing for anybody who can come there and meet with us. Check on my website for the lists of speakers and the dates and the links for buying the tickets, elenadanaan.org/conferences, and you will have everything you need to know. We hear often some confusing narratives, information, that there would be other versions of us in parallel dimensions. So this can confuse because this term synthesizes different topics, different elements. So here is what has been confused, okay? Creation creates bubbles, bubbly bubbles. Creator, she's very bubbly. She's a very bubbly woman. These bubbles are universes, growing as consciousness within them through evolution develops and expands. So the universe expands as life expands. So it moves further from the singularity that is creator. These universes overlap sometimes, and if you take these bubble universes vision, what you see is the flower of life. If you want to represent it flat, it's a flower of life. You have no way of representing this thing 3D. It's flat. That's how the ancients told us about the flower of life. But in fact, the circles are bubbles. And each bubble is called a universe or a dimension. And each dimension had different scales of densities of existence. What is a density of existence? A density is a frequency rate of vibration between particles. As it vibrates faster, it's a higher density. Here we go. That's how you call your higher self, not because it's higher above you, it's because it vibrates in a frequency that is higher than this body. I would say your soul. Okay. Take a universe or dimension. On planet X, an individual is born. We are going to call him Mark. Mark is born on planet X. Okay. In universe A. In universe B, there's no other planet X. Universe B has its own planets, firstly. But Mark on planet X in universe A cannot have a double in universe B, because there's not, the universe is different. None of is a copy of the others. It's like take two different galaxies, two different houses, two different families. You don't have the same people in it. You don't have the same place. It's not the same geography. So you cannot have a double of yourself in another physical place, right? That's one thing. But this concept is not totally closed as a debunking, as something wrong, because it comes as a confusion of something else that exists. It's the time field. In the time field, all moments coexist at the same time. So you may have a version of yourself from another reincarnation or just minutes before that is there, that exists. And connecting with this aspect of you is time travel. It's not moving in space, it's moving in time. So that's a way you can imagine that there are other versions of yourself are alive, but is not simultaneous. It's different moments in time, not timelines, moments in a timeline. It exists in the time field. That's where the confusion may come, because in normality, in the physical space ruled by physical laws, imagine, let's take a moment. You have universe A with planet X and Mark, and you have universe B. Imagine if there was a copy-paste of planet X with Mark in universe B. We call it planet X2 and Mark 2. If Mark 1 in universe A takes a decision to drive off a cliff and kill himself, but this one doesn't do it, okay? Takes another decision, okay? Shortly after, this one stops to exist, but this one exists. So for Mark 2, there's not anymore someone else living in another parallel universe. It's already finished. Imagine Mark 2 decides to have kids, meets a nice girl, and decides to have kids. In this universe, these kids don't exist. And so on, and so on. So it's not possible to have parallel lives physically in different dimensions / universes. It's logic, it's physics, it's the reality. So I hope this clears it up. And let's see next time for another new debunk. Hope is not waiting. Hope is creating. Hoping that something will come. This thing may come, but you have no guarantee. But when you manifest the thing you want to come, yourself, by trying by all way possible to create it, if you cannot create it physically, you can still create it physically with your mind, because The thoughts are electrical impulses that carry information. And it's going to tickle the holographic matrix of reality. And when I say holographic, it's not made of photons of light. It's made of electrical network, blueprint. And that is the skeleton of creation, the holographic matrix of reality. And it's going to imprint it, tickle it, and modify it. And once it hits the matrix, it gives it the information. If it's just a thought, it may dissolve. But if a thought, you say it every day in your head, I want a peaceful future, I want a united earth, something like that, or things simple. I want abundance for my family, for instance. I want my son to succeed his exam, etc., etc. If you say it constantly, you're convinced it's there. You have to be convinced it's there. You make it happen. You send the information in the matrix, and the matrix is going to make it. So sooner or later, you'll have the feedback and it will be there. Okay? It's very significant, for instance, the example of somebody succeeding an exam. But the person needs to do it themselves, of course, to give them best of chances. And at the time comes, when they are in the exam classroom, they will have the best configuration in the matrix around them to think clearer and bring the best answers and succeed the exam. And also it will influence the teacher or the examinator or the judge, whoever decides, to have a kinder appreciation and more positive appreciation of his work. That's how it influences reality. If the young person is convinced or sends fear signals, oh, I'm scared to fail my exam, then it will go to its exam with a vibration of failure and fear. You understand? And that has been working for humanity for a long time. If you didn't know about this power you have, the CIA knew it. And they have been bombarding you with fear signals for you to create a fear reality, a reality that they control, that they want. They just have to send you the information. By the TVs, the medias, everything. And religions, don't start me about religions. For you to create the reality they want. So it's time that in the name of hope, we create the world we truly want to happen. And we are going to make it happen. You know why? Because we are the architects.
Analyzing data.
The Zadron, a humanoid culture native to the Matsuri system, a yellow main sequence star, 116 light-years away from Earth. are a peculiar culture. Not members of the Galactic Federation of Worlds, the Zydron have created their own small federation of planets, including 2 other nearby star systems, Marzari and Savka. The 3 systems together include 8 spacefaring civilizations. The Machuri Federation of Planets, or Ora Machuru Shari, has a good relationship with the Galactic Federation of Worlds of Nataru and occasionally participates in large-scale military operations. This collective also works closely with the Galactic Guild of Merchants. Let's talk a little more about the Zydron. This humanoid race is a cross between an original tall white human race seeded by the Intergalactic Confederation and a colony from the star system Vega. Their skin color ranges from pale white to blue with irregular zones of pigmentation. They are very tall, have a prominent forehead with a middle ridge, and usually wear their hair very long, from black to light brown. The Zydron are a peaceful civilization that has built its prosperity on galactic commerce. They trade their own planetary resources for technology parts and shipbuilding material. The Zydron do not play part in envoy programs. They love art and music, are highly advanced in the sciences, and are considered one of the most intelligent human races in the galaxy. Their status makes them candidates for membership in the Zenatean Alliance, the Andromedan Council, but they prefer to remain independent. The beautiful Zydron people are a fierce, intelligent, independent, and sovereign culture.